I've been asked, how do you decorate with antiques? Well, this isn't my space, but it is a great example of a moody, cozy style created with antiques. If this looks like someone's comfy living room, that's the point. We're here at a very special restaurant in the center of Milano that is so much more than just a restaurant. Hi everyone, I'm Tammy. Thanks for joining me today as we chat with David, the owner of APRES-COUP, and take a look at the inspiring decor he's created in this space. You can picture yourself after dinner listening to some great live music by the stage, and then just wandering through the attached art gallery with a cocktail. Why would anyone want to leave? David, thank you for sharing this space with us today.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what inspired you to make APRES-COUP in such a moody, wonderful way filled with antiques?
Yeah, when I start thinking about APRES-COUP, I wanted to join a number of different things together. One thing is art and culture. The other thing is entertainment. The other thing is food and drink. The other thing is kindly asking people that were visiting me to stay here, to spend some quiet time, And joining all these things together was much complicated and is very, very much complicated. So the goal that I wanted to achieve, and hopefully I achieved, is to mix all these things together, to join them together in the same time from 6 to 1 a.m. in the morning, and having people staying here, drinking, eating, looking at the walls, looking at the gallery, because we have a modern art gallery on the other room, and enjoying some culture that is mainly brought on the stage that we have here. So we have music, we have theater, we have dramatic theater, let me say, or very serious theater. We have stand-up comedians going up on the stage as well. We have jazz every Saturday night, live jazz, and we have readings, and we have book presentations, and we have even conferences or private events. So I don't want people just to eat and drink, because they can do it wherever they want in Milan. It's such an easy thing to do here in this city, as well as in all big cities in the world. The difficult thing and the big achievement here is that you don't drink and eat only. You always feed your mind, and you feed your gut, and you feed your taste, and you feed everything is part of you. I wanted to give a special taste to this place in terms of furniture and art on the wall, art on the shelves, and not only through the culture that I bring, that I offer on the stage, but thanks to the things that I put in here, and I love that much. I love every single piece that is put in this place. They are coming from different times, but mainly from the beginning of the 20th century to the 40s. That's the period I wanted to focus on. The reason why is because I think that period was extremely elegant, extremely cultural, and people used to meet in the bistro and meet in the restaurant and meet in the, let me say, community spaces, together with food and drinks, of course, and share their ideas. Sometimes they fight each other, sometimes they agree, sometimes they love each other, sometimes they generate a new cultural tendency, a new cultural trend, or a new cultural movement. And that is exactly what I wanted to recreate here. But on the other hand, we are contemporary people. That time has passed forever. So even though I'm completely conscious that all these things do not exist anymore, I don't want to give up and say to the people that are visiting us, this is a place for your memories. This is a place where you can remember that period of the 20th century as you wish, but this is a place of the beginning of the 20th century. So all the pieces of furniture are original. They are not 30 style. I don't know what's the English for, but built remembering that period. These are pieces coming from that period, because I want to be very honest and transparent with my guests And I don't want to say, I hope that you find it, or I hope that this looks like a piece from the 30s. My statement is, please take a seat on this table that has maybe 100 years. And this is my goal, and this is the way the people believes that everything here is very honest, culturally honest, and artistically honest. But I don't forget, the contemporary world. So when you take a seat, when you sit down, when you touch these things, you can touch the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century. But when you see on the walls, you see the contemporary art everywhere. So there is kind of a dialogue between two great periods of our history. One is the past, with all these things that were so typical and so specific of that time. And there is another set of pieces that is on the wall, that are on the walls, that are completely telling us what contemporary art is, or what contemporary photography is, or what the bridge between the two periods could be. Because there are some pieces that are in the middle, between contemporary and beginning of the 20th century.
What was the most challenging thing about creating a space like this filled with antiques?
Yeah, you know what? It's trusting myself. Because a lot of people ask me, is there an architect behind this? Is there, how do you say, an interior designer behind this? Actually, there is not, absolutely. Doesn't mean that I'm an architect, doesn't mean that I'm an interior designer. Simply, I was scared to trust myself in choosing and assembling things together. But this place is really a piece of my life, a piece of my history. So the point here is not to be perfect, because there are at least 2 or 3 periods mixed together in the bistro. It's, some pieces are from the Art Nouveau period, some pieces are from Art Deco period, and some pieces are from what we call Periodo Impero. It's an empire period. It's beginning of 20th century, end of 19th century, beginning of the 20th. And I did have to trust myself, and it was challenging, because when you buy such a huge number of pieces, you invest a lot of money. So if you make a mistake at the end, eventually, wow, it is very risky. And I did trust myself, and it ended up in a very good way, because people really appreciate the way I mixed these different styles together. But it was challenging and scary and thrilling, indeed. The Italians do like, let me say, cozy spaces and warm spaces and warm bistro and so on. But the philosophy behind APRES-COUP is not typical of an Italian city, or, doesn't belong to us. But really, I did dare to say to myself and to say to the people that are visiting us, let's bring different cultures together, different Western cultures together. And so here we have part of my life, part of my family is from Germany, so there is my German heritage, there is my proud Italian heritage, Tuscany heritage, because my father is from Tuscany. But there are pieces coming from from France, from the UK, from the Nordic Baltic countries, and so on. So this is a tribute to Europe and its history.
Can you share with us the stories of a few of your favorite pieces?
Yes, indeed. There are two kinds of let me say, antique or old-time pieces. There are pieces that I bought, and there are pieces that I received as a gift from my guests. That's unbelievable. Because when people came here, and it used to come here, they fall in love with this place, and they come back home. And in some particular cases, they came back with the piece, and they said, David, I think your spot, your place is the right place to make them being alive again, One of my favorite pieces is a Madonna. It's a portrait of the Mother of Christ. Yes, and actually it is a Raffaello painting. So I don't have a Raffaello, an original Raffaello, an authentic Raffaello here, but the story is amazing, because this piece of art is what we can call how do you say poster? Is it the poster that you buy and you put on a print?
Okay.
Now we use a print. You know, you like Picasso, you buy a print of Picasso and you put it on the walls of your bedroom or your dining room or whatever. At that time, the prints didn't exist. So what they do, if they want a Raphael in their home, what they could do, they put on silk the print, the black and white print of, thanks to the old photography. Yeah, I'm talking about the 20s. And they put on silk the shape of the Madonna, and then they called a local painter, and the painter painted the silk with the shape printed on it, and then they use a finishing, come si dice vernice?
A varnish.
A varnish, okay. Okay, so my favorite pieces here, you know, everything is my favorite here, so it's difficult to answer your question, but there are most favorite pieces. And especially, I would mention four of the entire set of things that we have here. One is a contemporary piece, and it's an art piece made of steel and photograph, and is on my back. And this piece is from an artist from Tuscany, and she used to work with steel and with self-portraits, and she started before the selfie, you know, was so trendy. The selfies were so trendy. She started many years ago taking shots of herself, and her name is Giada Mazzini. She's from a city close to Florence that is called Prato, and she works with steel, and she's very lean, and she's not a strong woman, but she cut herself the steel shelves, I would say, pieces, and she takes days and days to bend them, you know, and because she cuts and she bend the piece of iron or steel, and then she works with, together, joining together steel and photographs of herself. And this piece is amazing because it's really dominating the space and is welcoming the people because it's exactly on the other side of the entrance door. So everybody, when gets in, absolutely the first thing that he or she sees is this huge, big piece on the wall, and it's so welcoming and it's so intriguing. She's so beautiful, and the steel is kind of a friend and enemy to her, and you can think a lot of things. That one is my favorite because her, you know, the lady reminds me the great women of the Greek tragedy. You remember, you know, Medea and all these kind of great women that the Greek culture really showed up during their theater activities. And the second set of things that I do like is the set of candlesticks that we have in here, because we have every single table has its own one or two candlesticks, and the candles are crucial for this place because they are tall candles, not the small ones that are just because they are trendy. We do believe that candlelight has a lot of meaning here, and they are coming from mainly north of Europe, and they are original, so there are no contemporary candlesticks. They are coming from the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, and they are made mainly of brass or silver braid. And they are fantastic. I love them, and the people, our guests, love them as well, very much. The third thing that I love very much is a small piece, and is what I could define the bridge piece, because it's not from the past, exactly from the past. It's not contemporary. It's something in the middle. It's from the 30s, and is a drawing of a typical Deco period lady. So. Because APRES-COUP is mainly a Deco place, it's mainly a Deco bistro, more than Art Nouveau, it's more Deco. And she's really representing the ideal woman according to the taste of that time, of the 20s and 30s. And it's a little bit hidden. It's something you have to discover walking around, but it's perfect to tell a story about this place and the taste that is behind this place. And I would say these are the most important. And according to my, let me say, serving taste, I would like to have even dishes and knife and forks, and all the things that you use to bring food on the tables are, I would say, 80% of them are from the past as well. Maybe my favorite dish here is this piece. This piece is coming from the UK, is from the 20s, and is an amazing, stunning cheese plate. And can you imagine to have a piece of cheese here? Because, you know, this place was used for decades and decades and decades, and it is beautiful. It really reminds you how taste was important in the past, how people, a certain kind of people, were so into beautiful things in their daily life. So they could not live without pieces that were very, very beautiful. And this piece is my favorite because of this.
That is a wonderful piece with the asymmetry.
Yes,
size.
it's unbelievable, you know, and the way, it's just for a piece of cheese, but wow. You know, when people used to change dress for have dinner, you know, it's something we don't do anymore. But they were so focused on being in an elegant environment and in a friendly environment as well. And so they changed their dresses just because they wanted to be perfect for relationship, not for egotistic reasons, not because they were, let me say, too much focused on themselves. They were very much focused on the relationship and the way they want to participate to the relationship at dinner, during dinner time or during tea time. So that's something that I would like to bring in this place as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And
Thank you.
Everyone appreciates that so much.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Now, you did mention that your green lights have a very interesting story.
Yes. You know, the green lights, I bought them from an antique shop, and I've been told that these were the lights in a billiard room in a villa in the center of Italy, in Emilia-Romagna. And once again, they can tell you a story, because the billiard room is something very rare right now. But I think during the 30s, the 20s, the 50s even, you know, having a billiard room from an upper middle class was kind of a must. Was for gentlemen, and everything was set up for the billiard. So because the billiard, you know, let me say, surface is green, so all the details in the room were based on green, and the lamps on the walls are green because of that reason. And so, and they are made of brass, and they can tell us the taste, once again, the atmosphere, the mood, and the focus on details. Let me say, I want people to spend time here, but time passes by, right? Time is never still. So the objects and the furniture here, we take care of all these pieces of furniture, but on the other hand, if they get used, and if they are used, and if they have some cracks or they are not perfect anymore, I'm really happy, because that means that people are using them, and they spend time together with the things in this place, together with the pieces of furniture. So they are not perfect anymore. They were perfect when I bought them. They were perfect at the beginning, but now you can see time on them. And this is something I like. And I do accept to have things a little bit, you know, with crackles, with problems, because we get older every day. So why should we try to make them eternal? We are living with them.
David, you have such a wonderful set of teapots and teacups.
Yes, this is another crazy thing to me. You know, I'm really crazy for that. I'm really into that, and I think you cannot drink tea in a bad way. You know, tea is a kind of a ceremony. We don't belong to the Japanese culture. I do love that kind of rituals, but we are Western people. But we have our own tea tradition, and is mainly based on the pieces of tea sets, on the tea sets in the northern part of Europe. In Italy, we welcomed the tea culture recently, but of course in the UK it's a very long tradition. In Germany as well, in Austria as well, in the Middle Europe area as well. And so it took me 2 years to find a number of tea sets coming from Germany, Austria, UK, just to bring on the table of my guests the best I could in terms of serving tea here. And there are many, many, many. And sometimes they can, I'd say, be broken, let me say, because, you know, they are used and I suffer like crazy. You know, my colleagues they don't tell me. When something is broken, they take weeks to tell me because they are scared, because I suffer like crazy.
Oh, no.
But they are so beautiful, you know, sometimes I just look at them.
I noticed that this wonderful style you have even extended into the bathrooms of the restaurant.
Yes, indeed.
That I love so much. And what inspired that space?
You know, there are a number of simple things that inspire me and a number of, let me say, crazy things as well. The simple thing is the bathroom is very important for a public space because you cannot feel at home in the bistro and then when you go to the bathroom, you get disappointed. It's unacceptable, you know? I cannot live with it. So the bathroom must be perfect and must be consistent. The style of the bathroom must be consistent with the environment that you leave when you enter the bathroom behind you. And so I want to enrich the bathroom with some few pieces that are very precious. And it's funny because the most precious thing in APRES-COUP, the most expensive thing, is the lamp in the women's bathroom. It is a small modernist piece. It cost me a fortune. And
On the ceiling?
yes, indeed. It's crazily expensive, but it's crazily beautiful. And because I do love the northern country, the northern Europe culture, everything is understated. But if you knew the value of what you touch in the bathroom, you will be surprised. Like the lamp on the ceiling, and there are two, let's say, bed tables, small bed tables, that are from they were built in 1860, and they are covered with marble, and they are very, very precious. But they are, you know, almost hidden, because the point here is not to show. The point here is to live with, and you don't have to show everything like crazy. The point is that maybe you don't even realize that you're turning your head, you're looking something around, and then you discover that there is a beautiful piece, almost hidden somewhere. And now I have to think about the paintings on the wall, because I didn't put any painting on the wall so far. The walls are made, are beautiful, they are black and white, so they don't need paintings. But I would like to tell something to my guests, even in the bathroom, even when they are alone. Because if you think the bathroom is a very intimate place, when you are completely alone, and maybe you have a beautiful night, or you have a boring night, and you go to the bathroom, and maybe you say, oh my God, I cannot live anymore here. And so the bathroom is your own space for 3 minutes, and must be very comfortable and welcoming. That's why I wanted to have a bathroom in this way.
In the past, you did have lunch service here. Are there any plans to return to lunch service soon?
You know, during this pandemic period, or let me say late pandemic period, it is difficult to predict. I don't think so in the short term. I do hope so in the long term or mid-term. So let's say maybe next fall, we will be able to think about opening for lunch, even opening for working, you know. There is a word here in Italy that, all over the world, it is co-working, that I don't like it, because when you come here, I don't want you to co-work with someone else. I want you to be very calm in your own table and to be very protected by others, not because others are evil, but simply because you need your own time. You know, a very great writer, Virginia Woolf, wrote a book about having a room for oneself, you know? And she was telling us, you need a space that is just for you. You cannot be invaded by anyone else. And I would like to open during the morning and the afternoon to allow people to come here, work, read a book, think, stay alone, whatever, protected.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing, yes.
A lot of people would work here.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
I think for sure. So, David, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing everything with us.
Thank you very much.
Everyone is going to love this interview and to see everything and experience it this way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You. Bye.
We have an entire playlist of antique and vintage related videos. Here's a link to see some of those. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It helps so much.